Morning, good afternoon, how's it going? It's afternoon, yeah. How you doing, man? How is everyone doing? Or is it afternoon? It's definitely afternoon. Oh, you're in the US, yeah, it's afternoon. It's about, hang on, 2:30 in the afternoon. (9:30 AM), yeah, fair enough. Fair play, man. So good morning to you then. Oh dear, too deep that one. Let's go the other way before it splits up to the thin part of the spoon. You just drop the knife because it's getting blunt. Well, not blunt, but we need it razor sharp. Nice and sharp. Sharper the knife, the better. Sharper the knife, the safer it is, believe it or not. Because you're not pushing as hard to make the cuts. You're just using it nice and gently without sticking it in your hand somewhere. No, we're still blunt. Let's see what that's doing. That will do me, that will do me. Definitely a dull blade will slip, yeah, 100%, and then you end up smashing your hand open instead of getting a nice neat cut on it. And especially when you're doing like handles like this on a spoon, you want it particularly sharp. Otherwise it will yeah, you'll muller it basically. You won't be able to get the fine detail on it. You need it nice and sharp. Impressive, thank you very much. I'll make all sorts of ones. There's a different one that I made of a slightly different spiral on her. There's that one I had a second ago. There's another one. There's just like a normal spoon without the spiral on her. There's one made out of hazel spoon. Let's try and get them all back into the cider press. That's a cider press that I'm putting them in. Apple press. That I'm fixing. Nearly finished it. I just need to get a few screws to put in there. There's a wizard face that I carved into an old Christmas tree. There's a walking stick I made a while ago with a barley twist on it. Now I'm making another spoon. That stick's awesome, thank you very much. Cheers, man. That took a while, that did that one. I do. Good to carve 10 stakes. Fair play, man. But still, you know, it's practice at the end of the day. bring that in a little bit on the sides. There's a couple of wood spirits. This is my practice log. This is that I carved. And, wood spirits. There's another one there. I need to do more of those. I need to practice a bit more. I carved a wizard staff. Oh, if I can get it out, there we go. There's my wizard staff, and he's got a wizard's face, and then his beard goes all the way down, to the bottom of the stick. It's one of my favourite sticks, that is. One of my favourites. Also made a longbow last year, and I never actually made any arrows for it, so this year I went up the woods, collected a load of hazel coppice, and I've been peeling the bark off, fire hardening them and straightening them. So there's the thing. And I've napped a little flint arrowhead. Oh, so I don't lose it. And my pile of sawdust that I'm making. There we go, look, little tiny little flint arrowhead, and that's going to sit seated in there. I need to go and get some pine resin, maybe tomorrow. I think I'm going up the woods, so I'll get some then. And that'll fit in there like that. Put some fletching on it, and it should work. Hopefully, that's the theory. If it doesn't, I'll start again. Look, it should fly straight. Yeah, it's nice and straight. It's I've got another couple to make as well, and I'm halfway through making a crossbow as well. I'm terrible, I like leaving things, but the crossbow is more of a sort of outside jobby, but that's going to be the main. Can't really see anything really, it just looks like a stick, but that's the main bow part of the crossbow. Starting to get some decent bend in it now, but it's all just a matter of scraping and scraping and scraping and taking off very, very thin layers so it bends. But once I've made a crossbow, I've got a few of those that I've made for bolts, and I'm going to see if I can take down a nice target with it. We'll see how it goes. Constantly feeling the thickness of this spoon, so it's the same thickness all the way through like that one. You know, the outside matches the inside. That's what you need, nice and thick. I don't think I'm going to put. I might put a spiral handle on this one. I don't know. I might try something a bit different. Do an experiment. Yeah, hopefully it flies straight. It's a bit of an experiment. I've never made arrows before. I've made bows, but never arrows. I've got a big old 7-foot log up the woods. My mate owns a forest, so I've got a big log stashed up there, which I'm going to split into staves. I just need it to dry out a bit more and see where it's going to crack. And then I'm going to have another go at making a longbow as well, out of ash. I got spoiled with our Second Amendment. Never got to use a bow. But the grandson is good with one. Oh, fair play. Yeah, we're not even allowed to bow hunt in England. We're allowed guns, you just got to have a licence for them. You need a shotgun licence for a shotgun, a firearms licence for a rifle. You can get hold of pistols, but it's hard. You really have to go through the rigmarole to get a pistol. There's also a British machine gun club as well, but that's really, really hard to get into. Shotgun license pretty easy to get hold of, but we're on the shotgun license you're only allowed a maximum of 2 rounds in it, so it's mainly side by side or over and under. And you need a permission as well, you need a bit of land where you're allowed to shoot, which luckily enough I've got one, but quite a few people haven't. I've got 2 places where I can go and shoot where I'm allowed to. Heard it was complicated. It's not that complicated, you just apply for a shotgun licence, then the firearms officer comes around and makes sure that your cabinet's secure to a supporting wall, and it's got 2 locks on it, make sure you've got deadlocks on your doors and stuff like that, and then they'll give you the licence. That's all you have to do, it's not that complicated. It's easier to get hold of black powder firearms. As long as it's an obsolete calibre, you can have a revolver if you want. But yeah, shotgun's pretty easy. Firearm certificate, you need a decent sized piece of land to shoot on if you want rifles and stuff like that. If you want more than 2 rounds in your shotgun as well, if you've got like a semi-automatic or a pump action, you need to get a firearm certificate. But yeah, shotgun's fairly easy to get hold of. I was lucky enough to have a shooting instructor when I was 16, so he was an old gamekeeper. So we used to go shooting at least once a week. Starting to take shape. It's getting there. I'm always interested in different regulations. Seems each state here has its own requirements. Yeah, I've noticed that watching a few YouTubers on YouTube. The different states have different regulations. No, drop my strop on the floor. Oh, it's biting, it's biting. She's biting. There's a little bit more of a touch up there. But it's actually illegal in England to have a fixed blade knife on you unless you've got a reason to use it. Yeah, Bushman, we love you, keep going. Cheers, man, thank you very much. I'm making some more longer videos. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going up the woods with my mate, and we'll probably end up in a pub somewhere afterwards, but same on nights here, each state. There's hardly no regulation either. Yeah, I know, yeah, it's England's a bit funny with knives. I mean, like, even this is illegal, believe it or not, unless you've got a reason to have it. That little Opinel 3-inch blade, and what makes it illegal is the fact that it locks. But I'm not going to use a knife that don't lock for carving. I end up taking my little fingers off. But yeah, that's classed as an illegal knife. But because I have a reason to use it and it's classed as a tool, I'm allowed to have it as long as it's put away. Sorry, honey, I don't understand you. You have to speak English, bud. English only, I'm afraid, or maybe a little bit of Portuguese, but unless you falar Portuguese, I'm not going to understand you. Well, now if you're making a spoon, I mean, it looks massive, the handle on it at the moment, but if you're making something like that, you need to keep the handle really thick, because obviously you've got to take a lot of meat off and leave a lot behind, so it's going to be so I can tell you must have been in the service. What regiment were you in? No, I definitely wasn't in the army. 100% wasn't in the army. Never been in the army. I've actually got heart failure, so yeah, I was born with a dodgy heart, so I couldn't go in the army. I was going to join the army. I was in army cadets and all that, but I couldn't get into the army due to having a dodgy heart valve. But I spent most of my childhood with a Grenadier Guard, my grandfather, and he was very, very regimental. Just, you know, loads. I know loads about bushcraft and stuff and shooting and things, because I went to an agricultural college and I did countryside management, habitat establishment and maintenance, animal and plant biology, agricultural environment, arboriculture, lowland game management, all those sorts of good things. So my knowledge is fairly extensive, and I've been studying bushcraft and survival. I started getting into it when I was about 9 years old, so about 23 years I've been on the case. The services are getting pickier over years. Really? Oh, bloody hell, man, that's crazy. They don't get picky when the war comes along, though. But yeah, I spent a lot of my childhood with an old guardsman from World War II, my granddad, and we used to have some cool conversations. He passed away at the age of 95, he did. He lived for a very long time, that man. He was one of those people who'd wake up in the morning and have a shave and put a shirt and tie on, and always looked very, very smart, and he marched everywhere. He was a Lance Sergeant, if I remember rightly. I've actually got his guardsman's hat upstairs with the flaming badge on it, with the flaming grenade. Well, pretty much all my family, except for me and my dad, have been in the army. My granddad's father was Royal Horse Artillery in World War One. His father was out in India. I don't know about the rest. I ain't got any photographs of them. I know my family were at the Battle of Waterloo. to do long cuts. 95, well, amazing, man. I was in the Fusiliers. I was literally cannon fodder. Oh, harsh, man. Right at the front. My great uncle was a warrant officer. I can't remember what regiment he was in, but he was a warrant. I know he was a warrant officer. I think he was class 2, if I remember rightly. He's still alive. He's in his 80s, 90s, I think. My whole family is grandfather in the Marines. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Cool, man. That's awesome. Not really much worth fighting for nowadays, though, is there? You know, back then they had a cause. My dad's side of the family. Going somewhere today? So no, I'm not. No, I'm just sitting in my house carving a spoon. I'm going out tomorrow. I might do a live up in the forest tomorrow if I can get signal. We're going to be doing some stuff up there. I did my time, then off. I see my friends die hard in mental health, but I'll try and get on with life now. Yeah, it's hard work, man. It's hard when you lose your mates. I've lost quite a few mates over the years, and it's not good. One of them took his own life, and that hit me really, really hard when I was younger. It was 11 years ago, and I can still see him now. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's not the same as losing someone in battle, but you know, it's still your mates, and it's still hard on the life, hard on your memory. Certain things trigger you. I'm a new subscriber just now. I'm waiting your content. Awesome, man. If you check out my latest long video that I did, I'm just up the woods pottering about with my mates, and a big ash tree come down, so my mate was sawing it up, and I was pissing about cooking pork on the fire and making bread. But tomorrow we're going to go up and we need to go and buy a load of building supplies, because we're going to build a little concrete base up there. Put some big posts in, and we're going to make a tool shed to put all the tools in, because at the moment we've just got a pop-up tent with all the tools in, and it gets a bit damp in there, you know, and things start to rust. And what we do is we make a square concrete base, put walls and a roof on top of it, and put a little log burner in there as well, so when it's really cold and horrible and raining, we can just have a break and sit in there and drink tea. Understand hard. What can we do but walk on? Exactly, that's it. Just keep on walking. Saying that, actually, when he passed away, that's what I used to do. I used to walk like 20 miles. I'll put my headphones in, and I'll go and walk down the south coast all the way along the beach, just listening to music, and then walk back again. I used to spend hours, most of my day doing that. And then I got a job as a hod carrier, carrying bricks up ladders, and that sort of took my mind off of everything. Just constantly working, you know, intense physical labour. And then my heart decided to do a sombrero dance up on the scaffold, and I've been off work ever since. But I did that for 10 years. I was a hod carrier. It's the strongest I've ever been. Just constantly moving around, constantly carrying heavy objects about, constantly mixing up cement and stuff like that, working out how many bricks you need to build a house and things like that. You know, just keeps you occupied. I've always found that's why, I mean, I don't work at the moment because my heart's knackered, so that's why I'm doing stuff. That's why I started doing YouTube and stuff, because I was just like, I need something to do. I need to give myself a job, you know. I'm definitely going to subscribe. Reaction videos, I think you should do Some more of them. Just the way you talk, it reminds me of being in the army. And I missed the chat. Yeah, man. Loads of people say that. They're like, "Oh, were you in the army?" I was like, "No, I've never been in the army." Yeah, I just did a reaction videos for a giggle, really. It's just because those videos are just ridiculous, you know. Like in a survival situation, first thing you want to do is make a fire. Now, I say make a fire because when you get there, you're fed and you've got a lot of energy. So what you want to do is get your fire sorted. You can keep a fire going. You can put big rotten logs on it, and it'll smoulder away all night. And you can just blow on it, put some dry grass on it, get it going in the morning. Now, if you've got a fire, you've got somewhere to be warm when you sleep. The main thing is you've got somewhere you can boil water and purify your water. Once you've got a fire going, then you find water. Food should be your last priority. Once you get some grub, make yourself a shelter. Your best bet is to find natural shelters, you know, falling over trees, stuff like that, things that you can just crawl under, just to start off with. And obviously you make your situation better as time goes on, and you add to your shelter and make yourself more comfortable, and, you know, get food and whatever and stuff like that. But you don't want to be messing around stabbing holes in a can of tuna and sticking toilet roll in it, and, you know, chopping up bars of soap and stuff like that. If you've got a bar of soap in a survival situation, consider yourself extremely lucky. You know, like, I mean, I was saying in one of my videos, some fish will eat soap because it's fragrant. So you can actually use fish as bait, soap as bait to catch fish and stuff like that. You don't want to be messing around doing stuff like just pissing around doing Blue Peter stuff in the woods. You want to get yourself a nice big fire going and then go and find yourself some water. Hello, brother, listening on school run. Oh, awesome, man, awesome. That's where my missus has gone at the moment to go and get the kids. So I've got 5 minutes to do a live. Watching a couple, awesome, exactly, perfect. But that's the sort of thing you want to do in a survival situation, you know. Try and find food. I see a lot of people setting up these traps and stuff like that, but what they don't show you is, like, the thing with trapping is you've got to know where the animals are. You've got to know their routine. You've got to know the animals to be able to trap them. And a lot of them are very wary of new things. So if you build a trap, they're going to be like, "What's that?" And just go around it, you know. You've got and you don't just build one trap. You've got to build about 20 traps, and maybe you'll get one animal. You know, it's one of those things. It's not a case of just randomly placing spring traps everywhere. You've got to know what's going on. Out the cold and food. Use the daylight. That's it. Yeah, and I see people making torches and stuff. Like, you've got this torch, it's got minimal light on it, it's burning away. You're not going to want to be walking around the woods with that at night. You could fall down a hole, you could break your leg, you could skewer yourself on a tree, you could do yourself all sorts of injuries, you know, cause yourself a right mischief. And just hunker down at night, go out in the day, assess your situation, see what's in your immediate vicinity, what's in your area, you know, stuff like that. You don't want to be messing around. Most times in survival situations, you're lucky if you have a good knife to use. Yeah, exactly, that's it, 100%. I mean, I'm luckily enough, like, where I am, I'll never get into a survival situation because you're always 5 minutes from a road, you know. Maximum 72 miles away from the coast. As soon as you find the coast, you'll find people. It's just one of those things in England. There's a few spots that are a bit sketchy, like, what's his name, Dartmoor and the north of Scotland and places like that. You could get yourself into trouble. But where I am, you know, like, even in my mate's woods, it's classed as the middle of nowhere. There's a busy road, 15-minute walk away. You can just walk out, you know. It's one of those. And where I live, the hills are made out of flint as well. So you can just smash a few flints, make yourself a bow drill set, get yourself a fire going. You know, there's about 4 million pheasants walking around everywhere around here. A lot of deer and stuff like that, rabbit, squirrels absolutely everywhere. You know, and I actually quite like eating squirrels, so yeah. So you're lucky to have a knife in a survival situation. If it's a proper survival situation where you're out and about and you're not prepared for it, you know, you've got to really improvise. You know, things like batoning logs and stuff like that. You don't need to baton logs. Just go around and find dry sticks hanging in the trees or standing deadwood and get yourself a fire going. You know, you don't need to mess around wasting your energy doing that. Just grab your resources and just go get your fire going, you know. I mean, luckily enough, I've normally got a lighter on me anyway, so it's not really an issue making a fire. But then I can make friction fire sets, and I can do I can start fires with flint and stuff like that by using like horsehoof fungus or the Ganoderma applanatum, the artist bracket fungus and stuff like that. you know, you can do it. But I've never been in a survival situation where I've had to worry too much. I tore all the ligaments in my ankle once and got stuck up on a hill, but I managed to grin and bear the pain. Apparently it's more painful than breaking your leg, but I managed to grin and bear the pain. And that used to be one of my favourite things to do. That used to be tearing the ligaments in my ankle. Bloody hurts. I used to play airsoft when I was younger, and I had a chest rigging with my magazines in, and I put a little gas bottle in there, and I dived into a trench and I cracked all my ribs down this side. Because I had a chest rig on, I just tightened up my chest rig and carried on playing for the day. And it got to the end of the day and we did a CQB battle, so I took the chest rig off and I was like, oh fuck, here we go, this is really hurting. And I couldn't lift my arm up or anything like that, but I looked at my mate, I went sod it, so I pulled my pistol out and ran straight into the CQB area, and there was a UPVC door that fell over and I slipped on it. Instead of twisting my ankle on the inside, I twisted it outwards. And yeah, I completely mullered myself. I couldn't go to work for like 3 weeks. But the worst bit was my ribs. They took so long to heal. Flint is good to grill, but yeah, you're lucky to have a knife. Oh, flint is good. Yeah. Lucky to have a knife. It's not like the movies. Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. I completely agree with you. It's one of those things, you know, like, and as you say, there's not a right way or a wrong way to do survival. At the end of the day, you use what you've got in that situation. You improvise, and you just, if it works, you just keep doing it, you know. But there are a few things that you can keep in mind. You know, don't mess around with plants that you don't know. You know, even if you have to survive off of squirrels and stinger nettles for a month, it's just one of those things. Stay dry, stay warm. Making a signal fire in there. Yeah, flint's awesome, man. I love working with flint. Hard to start a fire with though, it's such a dull spark. Very, very dull. But you can do it. You just need to prepare your tinder very well. And I can make myself a bow as well, just using a knife, which is quite handy. I've done that a few times, made a few crossbows and stuff. Oh, I've got a message. There we go, look, it's starting to take shape. Keep the handle thick so I can carve something into it. The head of the spoon's pretty much there, so once it's all sanded off and finished carved, it'll look like that. Nice and uniform. I think my knife's getting a bit blunt. It's another thing, if your knife's nice and sharp, just strop it. No need to take a stone to it. If it's already got a nice edge on it, just strop it every 5 minutes. And it'll give it that extra sharpness back. Yeah, it's catching on my fingerprints, which is a good sign. This bit of paper's getting a bit smaller. Yeah, we're good-ish. We're good-ish. What time are we on? Oh, 3 o'clock. Loads of trees come down here at the weekend. That's the thing, when we go up the woods tomorrow, we're going up the woods to build this concrete base, but I guarantee you there's been a big tree falling over the track or something, and we'll have to sort that out. That's normally the way this time of year. But my mate's bought one of those water filters with the big bag on it, so we're going to try that out as well, which drinking out of the stream. I think the stream in the wood's pretty good anyway, because it literally comes out the ground, but you never know. Especially the amount of pollution we have around here. We're getting there with the spoon, we're getting there with the spoon. That's what we want, that's what we want. Take off some bigger bits. I might leave that like that because it's got a split in the top of it. I'll have to cut that off. Might give this one a bit of a curve. Let's see how it goes. Oh, the old tumble dryer's coming back to life again. And all this stuff makes brilliant tinder for your fire, which I'll be using tomorrow as a tinder bundle. I'm going to get the old friction fire going in the morning for the bacon and the tea. Bacon sandwiches and tea for breakfast. In the woods, in the beautiful South Down National Park. Can't really go wrong. Can't really go wrong. Nothing like sitting in front of a fire, especially when it's cold and windy. There we go, starting to take shape. Right guys, I'm going to jump off because I've got to make dinner, put some chicken on and whatnot for the kids to eat when they get back. I might actually have to get a fine stone on this, one of the wet stones, I think, one of the really fine ones, 3,000, 8,000 grit on there, might do it. I've got a oil stone from World War I that my mate gave me on the box. It was a really, really old box. He gave me that, and that thing's well good for touching up blades with. We shall see. And I've got to charge my GoPro up for tomorrow as well. Yeah, right. My stomach's grumbling, and I'm sure the kids are going to be hungry when they get back. So, cheers guys, anyone that's still on here, been watching me, chatting with me and stuff like that. It's been an absolute pleasure. Keeps me occupied and gives me something to do. It's really nice when people talk and stuff, ask questions. If you've got any questions for me or anything you want to know, just put a comment on one of my videos and I'll either get back to you on the live or make you your own video explaining it. But cheers guys, thanks very much for coming on. It's been awesome, and I might be back on later on tonight if I feel alright. Most likely tomorrow when I'm out in the woods. But I'll see you guys later. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you.